Alrighty, welcome to Module 6, Lesson 7, Drawing Parallelograms. Okay, drawing parallelograms. Now, in Lesson 6, you drew a series of figures with complementary angles, vertical angles, circles of different radii, and a couple of isosceles triangles there at the end. Lesson 7 now is going to familiarize you with a geometry tool known as a set square. Now, you probably don't have one, but you may. But if you don't, I have some really cool instructions on how you could actually create your own. Okay, you might want to check out in your dad's or mom's toolkit, maybe out in the garage. You could ask him or her if they do have what's called a set square. If they do, that'd be super. If they don't, and again, make sure it's a smallish one, I guess, be better if it's smaller. If don't, you can, I'm going to show you right now how to make one there at home. Okay, so if you can't find one, actually let me go ahead and actually show you a picture of one, a photo of one. Okay, so this is what a set square looks like, and as you can see, it's made primarily to work with right angles. Okay, right angles, 90-degree right angles. Okay, you can also measure with it. See, the measurement goes that way, and you could also measure up that way. Centimeters here, millimeters here. Okay, on this particular one. Well, anyway, with those, to make one of those type set squares, you could do that with a piece of paper, preferably something on the thicker side. Okay, a piece of what we call cardstock or index stock. More or less something that's going to be thick enough to hold up and thick enough to be able to draw a line on the side of it. It's very difficult to do if you have just a single sheet of regular copy paper. Okay. Anyway, if you do, you can go ahead and if you want to, this is a decent size one. This is actually a template that I have, which I could send to everyone, and maybe I will go ahead and do that. But if you haven't received it by then, by the time that you're doing this, you can just see on the bottom there it's 5 inches. Okay, it's 5 inches long. Now you're going to draw, and then this here, this little part right up here, okay, is as far as I can see right here is like 1 1.25 inches, 1 1.25 inches across there. Okay, all right. So and then I guess probably the most critical thing is this idea of which angle you're actually working with here. You're working with a 45-degree angle here. Okay. All right, so that's a 45-degree angle. So if you wanted to put your, get a piece of paper, 5 by whatever high. I don't know. This is the one I have here is nothing exact. It's about 3.5, 3 3.75, a little bit more, and 3 3/4 inches high there. Okay, and yeah, and you can go ahead and just make this. Get a protractor and make sure you're making this 45 degrees. I'm going to fold there, okay, and then I'll show you here we have, let's just give you an idea of that, and here are actually the instructions. Actually not there, here we go. Okay, so let me get rid of all of this. Alright, so here you go, you have the instructions. So you have that, you have this piece of what's about 5 by 3.5 inch paper here. I'm looking up here. Okay, this is again a 45-degree angle if you want to create that. All right, fold right at that line. So go ahead and make a line, and this was 1 and about 1. What did I say? That was 1. Did I say that was 1.5 inches or 1 and no 1.25 inches? I think, right? Okay, right here. All right, so if you put a dot there, then you can just draw this line, making sure that's about 45 degrees there. Okay, fold that. Okay, and then you're going to cut that right there. Okay. Going to fold this part. Okay, then you're going to cut right here. Okay, so you're going to make another line right there. You're going to cut and then discard, so get rid of that piece. And then you have your set square, okay? And again, you folded it over, so it is going to be, double thick, okay? And you could just tape it together if you wanted to, or you could just cut it. You could cut it here too if you wanted to, actually. Okay, so that's it. That's your set square, and yeah, hopefully you guys can make one of those and use it throughout this lesson, unless you have one in the garage. Okay, so before we get into drawing our parallelograms, I want to show you how to use this set square and a ruler to, together these are a slide rule, okay, if anybody has any of those anymore. Anyway, I want to show you what we use these for, okay, and this tool or these two tools together. Again, you could, just use a ruler and then this set square you just made or just found, okay, which will be very helpful. All right. So again, they're used to determine. First of all, you can determine or you can create, parallel lines. But we're trying to determine whether these two lines are parallel. Okay, and the way you would do that, and if you drew, you could just draw two lines on your paper. Okay, that you try to make them as parallel as possible. Kind of test whether how parallel you actually made them. All right. So if you have your two lines drawn, you're going to identify the two sides of the set square that meet at the right angle as shown. A and B are the legs of the set square. Okay, so you can see here we have A and then B. Okay, and the way that sits, and you can see you're setting A is flush with your ruler, and then B is flush with the one line. Okay, now you're going to move the ruler up. Okay, you're going to slide. Okay, you're going to slide, actually not the ruler, but you're going to slide the set square up, okay, along the ruler. Okay, you got to keep this ruler still and steady, okay, and you're going to slide this up, and you can see what happens. And if it happens that the B, that leg right there, actually lines up with the next line, then they are indeed parallel. Okay, they're indeed parallel. If it was a little bit off, like let's say if this line, maybe looked a little bit, let's say we've drawn the line, it was like that maybe, okay, and you can see it's flush here but not here. You can see that those would not have been parallel, truly parallel, okay. So that's how you use this set square to create more or less a slide rule here to actually determine whether lines are parallel. Now we are going to do something different. We're going to actually create parallel lines, all right? So here's what you want to, I'll just show you what this is going to look like. And again, if you have your tools at the ready, you can go ahead and do this yourself, okay? So if, hold on a second, that is not right. That was not the right one. I'm going to do the other one first. And here we go. Okay, so we start here, actually. Okay, so we want to draw a line through C parallel to AB. Okay, so we have this line, this segment here, AB. Okay, we've drawn that. You can go ahead and draw, if you want to do this yourself, draw a segment AB. It doesn't matter how long it is. It's just long enough to get your set square in there. Okay, then you're going to line up your set square so that the one leg sits is flush with the line, and then your the other leg is flush with the ruler. Okay, so we want to draw a line through C, and here's C, so you could just go ahead and draw a point somewhere below that line. Okay, parallel to AB. Okay, and the way we do this is we align B right here with AB. Okay, and then we're going to slide that downward, okay, as you can see here. All right, and when we do slide it down, then what we want to do is we want to actually make sure we can draw a segment now, because you can see here where point C is meeting that leg B right there. Then you're going to go ahead and draw a line, or draw a little small segment right here. Okay, you're going to draw that segment. Take everything away once you've drawn that segment, and then you will go ahead and just use your ruler to extend that segment. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and just put your ruler down, and you're going to have this little bit of a segment drawn already. Then you can just put your ruler down and just finish that up. Okay, and now you have created two parallel lines. Okay, pretty handy, huh? Yeah, because you know, there will be times, especially when we're talking about parallelograms, okay, where sides are parallel. We will indeed, this will indeed come in handy. Okay, example one, you know, pretty much has you working with a partner, because just tells you here, use what you know about drawing parallel lines with a set square, just like I had helped you do, to draw a rectangle ABCD with dimensions of your choice. Of course, state the steps that you use to draw your rectangle and compare those to your partners. Of course, there are no such partners right now with you, unless your mom or dad, whoever's helping you, wants to actually create their own rectangles, ABCD. Anyway, just some, you know, possible steps. You know, for me, I would, you know, draw AB first. Okay, draw my AB. All right, and then I would go ahead and align my my set square up on that AB with my ruler. Okay, it could be like right here. All right, right there, something like that. Slide this down. Okay, draw my little segment. Complete that segment with a ruler, and go ahead and label it CD. Okay. All right, and then I can just go ahead and you know, draw these as well. Now, again, I could just trust myself if I know that these are, you know, so that's a mess. If I know that these are equal and they're matched up, then these here will be, as you can see for me, it really wasn't quite actually. Okay, so what you're creating then, if you want to check this with your protractor, as you can see, if you've created 4 90-degree angles. Okay, so something like that. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect. Okay, so here's the next one here. It says, in example 2, use what you know about drawing parallel lines with a set square to draw ABCD, with AB equal to 3 centimeters and BC equal to 5 centimeters. Write a plan for the steps you will take to draw ABCD. Not exactly sure why they have ABCD drawn for you here already. Okay, as you can see it there. But again, I don't think we need to belabor this point. As long as you have a good idea how you would attack such a thing in a classroom, presented with a problem, that's all that matters. If you're having any difficulties, you could always give me a call to reach out for help if you need to. Okay, here we go. Example 3. Use a set square, ruler, and protractor to draw parallelogram PQRS so that the measurements of angle P is 50 degrees. PQ, that's a segment, equals 5 centimeters. The measurement of angle Q is 130 degrees. And the altitude, okay, that means the height, okay, is altitude. Height. I guess I spelled height wrong. I always do that. Height of PQ is 4 centimeters. Okay, and like I said, altitude is height, I guess, yeah, in the sense that it's height, but its length. It's going to, well, you'll see what it looks. I don't know. Maybe you won't. Anyway, do this, and I'll do it, and then we can work it out together. Okay? Okay, well, here we go with the steps to create this parallelogram. First thing I did was created my segment PQ. Now you could have made your segment go the other way, P on the left side and Q on the right side, doesn't matter. Just when you're creating this parallelogram, as long as they go in order, so P, Q, R, S, just as long as the the letters alphabetically follow in one direction, let's say. Okay, in this case we're going clockwise, so P to Q, and then we're going to go R and S over, and we'll see how that looks later. So, but it doesn't really matter. Yours, your parallelogram may go in opposite direction. I don't know. But let's go ahead and go from here. Next step, I took my set square and I made mine out of some index card stock here at school. Okay, yes, I am at school on a Sunday. Don't you feel badly for me? Anyway, here we go. I did that, lined that up. It's not perfect. Boy, I tell you, I'm going to get myself one of these set squares for sure. So I lined, of course, lined up my my bottom here with the PQ. Got my ruler. Got my 90-degree angle over here, and now I'm going to slide it up. Okay, and there we go. I slide it up, and again, my altitude is 4 centimeters. Okay, that means the height of my my parallelogram is going to be 4 centimeters. Okay, and we'll see what that looks like later. But what I did is I just slid my trying to make parallel lines, because I know my parallelogram needs parallel lines. All right. Then I went ahead and drew a line right here. Okay, I drew a line right there, and then I went ahead and I had had my original line down here, as you can see, the first one, then my PQ, and then here is the line that I actually I drew with my set square. Okay, set my here's P. P is right here, so vertex P. So my angle P is going to be right over here and there somewhere. So I am moving that way with my protractor, and there I see my 50 degrees. Okay, I draw my line. All right, drew my line. I marked it with the dot, drew my line, and now I have a 50-degree angle right in there that I have created with my protractor. Okay, and next step, I need to now look at Q. Okay, angle Q. All right, and angle Q, of course, is right in here. These are all internal angles, of course, that we're measuring. And again, I use my protractor. I have my little notch over that, my vertex Q, point Q. Okay, and then I see right here, I have my little dot on 130. Okay, because now I am reading my scale in different direction. Before when I was reading 50, I read this way. And now I'm reading this way on this side. Okay? All right, making a lot of messy stuff there. Anyway, made that, drew my line. Okay, drew my line right there to connect that. So I have everything. There is my parallelogram as it looks at this point. Now I want to go ahead and make sure that I have noted everything. Okay, I have my 50-degree angle here in P. I have my 130-degree angle here, and then of course I have my P, Q, R, S in a row, drawn in a row that way. Okay, going clockwise, and of course we know that this is also going to be 50 degrees because it's going to be even, and these are vertical. Okay, right here, these are also vertical, and this is going to be 130 degrees, and of course all of that together is going to equal 360 degrees. All right, and again back to that point about the altitude, and you can see what that altitude is. It sits right there in the middle, and it is 4 centimeters, and I did that thanks to my my set square. Okay, There is my 4 centimeters right there, 4 centimeters altitude. Now, what I use that for, of course, I use it, of course, for figuring out area, okay, because an area of a parallelogram is going to, again, is going to be length, times height, okay? It's the same, base times height, same as any parallelogram, same as a square, same as a rectangle, okay? But the height is not these, okay? The height is actually that center altitude, okay? Because if you look at it, I could cut this off here, okay, and just transfer that and put it right over here. And what I've made actually is a square, okay? So yeah, there you go, and there's what it looks like, and I hope yours looked similarly. Let's finish this off with, I think we're going to finish it off with one more, maybe two more. Hold on. Let's just go. Okay, well, for these actually I skipped over that exercise one, but that's okay. You'll get plenty of practice. I'm just going to I'm going to read this with you here, this example 4, have you give it a whirl. You could just use the instructions that I just showed you, kind of step by step, how I made that other parallelogram to be successful with this one, and then I'm going to just take a picture of it out of the answer guide and have you just compare yours to it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use a set square, ruler, and protractor, okay, to draw a rhombus ABCD, so that the measurement of angle A is 80 degrees, the measurement of angle B is 100 degrees, and each side of the rhombus measures 5 centimeters. Okay, so I'll have you take that task on. Of course, a rhombus is just a square that's been kind of pushed over, okay, or tilted. Kind of looks like a rhombus. It's going to look a little bit like that, except it's going to be more squarish. Okay, all right, something like that. But yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, yeah, so that's a rhombus, and go ahead and make this rhombus. I'm going to take a picture of it out of the answer guide and put it right here for you to look at and compare yours to. Okay? Okay, well, here's what your rhombus should have looked like. Now, I'm thinking you could have been tilted the other direction. Again, the important thing about a rhombus, and again, let's spell that here, a rhombus, okay, and how it differs from I guess it's a parallelogram, but a straight old, I can't get that, there we go, straight old parallelogram, but a little parallelogram is that these are all equal, and you can see how that has been notated here on with the sides of the rhombus, and we actually saw that when we were talking about triangles and angles and sides in a couple lessons ago. Okay, those little tick marks, the fact that they are all single tick marks mean every single one of those sides is equal in length. Okay, and what were some of our specifications? They asked us, they wanted angle A to be 80 degrees right here, and again, you just use your protractor to figure that out. Probably the best thing to do would have been to maybe draw AB first, okay, and that was going to be 5 centimeters, and then you could have just drawn, you just could have figured out the 80 degrees here, and then just drawn another 5 centimeter long line, okay, because we know that because rhombi have equal sides, they're just askew, a little tilted, okay. Could have drawn that, and then to the other side draw your 100-degree angle, okay, here again, then draw that line, another 5 centimeter long line, and then connected those two, which would have made that actually a relatively easy little rhombus to make. But again, making sure that all of those sides were equal in length. Okay. Okie doke. So there we go. Lesson summary. A protractor, ruler, and set square are necessary tools to construct a parallelogram. A set square is a tool that gives a means to draw parallel lines for for the sides of a parallelogram. Yes, and as I saw and I learned, hopefully you have learned, it is a very good tool. I would get out there and grab one myself and put it in my little toolbox. Okay, really, really handy to have. All right, so we've drawn some parallelograms. Hopefully you had some fun. Some of you may just really, really, really get excited about this. I think it's fun as well. I'm just a little bit weary, that's all. Anywho, let's go ahead and get you to your problem sets. And again, any difficulties, any questions, just give me a call.